What's going on, guys? It's Mr. Affleck 9916. We won the Stanley Cup. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we did having a team meeting here. Pretty simple here. Awesome job, boys. You really deserve it. I think that's the best thing to say. I do not know why the morale lost, but whatever. Wow, guys, what a season it was. An unbelievable season. I want to welcome you all into this video. Episode 37, so our first season was 36 episodes long, and now we'll have a couple episodes for the offseason. Here's a final look at the playoff bracket. To recap, we beat Washington 4-1, Columbus 4-3. We were down 3 games, and we won all 4 in overtime. Beat Tampa in another Game 7, and then we swept Minnesota for the first Stanley Cup sweep since 1998 when the Red Wings did it. So, an absolutely amazing playoffs. Going through some stats here to finish off the playoffs, guys. Goals, Evgeny Malkin led the way. Crosby and Horgos both at 8. Sutter was 6. Good job for him. David Perron with 5 and Kessel with 5 as well. So nice to see Sutter and Perron producing. But as you can see, the real star in the goal department was Evgeny Malkin. He had 9 goals in 23 games. So not too bad. I mean, I know it could have theoretically been better, but whatever. I think tops in the points were Crosby. Yeah, Sidney Crosby, 17 points in 23 games. Malkin had 15. Ian Cole actually had 14 and 3 goals for a defenseman. Not bad. Hornquist, Sutter, and Clendening kind of were the only other ones to have 10. There's Daniel Sedin, who we traded for, 3 goals, 4 assists. Not too bad. I would say I expected more of him this season, but, he was definitely a part of our Stanley Cup winning team, and I definitely think it was a good trade. Dumoulin led the way in penalty minutes, and Brandon Sutter had 11. Sutter actually had a couple bad penalties throughout the playoffs, but that's all right. We won the Cup. I can't complain about anything. Plus, minus, Malkin led the way. Hornquist and Dupuis and Clendening all had +7 as well. I don't even see Crosby on there, which is surprising. Actually, Sidney Crosby -4. Line 1 did horrible on the plus-minus, which is really surprising. Maybe I was too aggressive with them. I don't know. Power play goals, Evgeny Malkin with 4. That's unbelievable. Short-handed goals, Malkin also had 2. So Gino just on the special teams killed it these playoffs. Unbelievable job for him. He also had 2 game-winning goals, so I think had Fleury not won the Conn Smythe, Evgeny Malkin, with all the special goals and stuff that he had, might have been the potential Conn Smythe winner. He really tore it up. Patrick Hornquist had the most shots, 77. That's no surprise there. He's my best goal scorer. Crosby and Malkin were also in the 70s. Daniel Sedin was 4th. Unfortunately, he didn't score at all. And as you can see, just kind of going through the rest of the stats. You can pause the video if you want and look through it if you want to, take some more looks of it yourself, but that's pretty much going to be it for all the stats for the skaters. We'll go to the goalie, see how they performed. Zakhoff actually had 2 games, which I think I pulled Fleury twice, and that's why. Fleury, though, 16-6-0, .917 save percentage, unbelievable. Zakhoff actually was pretty bad in the playoffs. Goals against average 3.23, only .833 save percentage, which is surprising because Zakhoff played really well during the regular season, so it sucks to see him struggle here in the playoffs. But as you can see, Fleury ends up with 1 assist, actually 4 penalty minutes, which is surprising. But Marc-Andre Fleury, the Conn Smythe winner this year, did an absolutely great job. Now we'll look at the team stats. As you can see, goals for per game, Edmonton was worse there, but Tampa Bay had the most. We were 5th, 2.87 goals is what we averaged a game, so just under 3. That's not bad. We produced a pretty good offense, but what really won us this championship, guys, was our defense. 6th best, 2.5 per game. That's not bad at all either. Not quite as good as Anaheim, but still a really good job for us in that department. Power play goals, we had 8. Obviously, I don't get a lot of power plays just because I play with 6-minute periods, so that's kind of what happens. Power play percentage, we did much better than during the regular season, 20.51%. And as you can see, penalty kill was still really bad, 2nd worst. Our penalty kill was really bad all regular season. It was 2nd worst and 2nd worst of the playoff teams. So penalty kill was still really disastrous. And that, guys, is pretty much going to be it for the first season. It's time to head to the offseason. We're going to be doing the draft in this episode, and then in the next episode, we're going to be doing free agent signings and re-signings of people, stuff like that. Salary caps, maximum salary cap, $73.525 million this year, minimum $54.925 per player, $14.705, and minimum per player $0.575. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the new salary caps this year. excuse me, I have starting to get a little bit of cold. I think it's allergies or something. But there's progress reports. You can just see real quick how our players got better during the season. Bo Bennett went from 81 to 83, and Biggs went from 72 to 77 down in Wilkes-Barre Scranton. That's the one I really noticed. That's incredible. Zlobin 67 to 71, 75 to 78 for Scott Wilson. So definitely some players that improved. Here's some of the people we're going to have to re-sign in the offseason. The big one for me is going to be re-signing Ollie Mata. That's probably the number one most important re-signing attempt that I'm going to have to do. We have some guys kind of at the bottom here that aren't that good. But the big ones, Mata, and I would probably say I want to sign Sutter. My goal during the draft is to trade Perron because we're going to have to free up some salary because Mata's salary is going to go up a ton, and I think we're just going to have to get rid of someone, unfortunately, and it's probably going to be Perron. So before we go to the draft, let's kind of go over our roster just so you guys have an idea, just kind of showing all the positions there. You saw our centers were stacked in the position of center. I don't really think we need anything. Left wingers, that's who we got in the system. Scott Wilson is our best left winger in the system. I didn't show the NHL ones, but right wingers, Bennett, Hornquist, Kessel up in the majors. Tyler Biggs at 77 overall. He might contend for the NHL team because, as you can see, that's our best right winger. So we actually do need a right winger, and that might be something we look to trade for when we make some trades during this draft. We might try to focus on getting a right winger, especially if we're trying to get rid of one of our left wingers who won't be able to play right anymore. But that'll work better. We'll have a right winger playing in right wing, which would be perfect. There's our trade block. Sedin, Perron, and a draft pick. The only reason I thought I want to kind of trade Sedin at this point is because of his salary. It's really high, and he's old, and I worry that he won't produce this year. But we'll see. We start the draft. Arizona Coyotes had the number 1 overall pick. We go to my first overall pick. I'm going to look at those are the top 4 people I scouted. I'm projecting them to go way before me. As you can see, that Kriske is projected top 10. So I'll just have to simulate to my pick and see what I can get. But before I do that, I'm already going to try to make a trade. First, I look at Carl Hagelin, who the Penguins actually got in real life in a trade to their Ducks, and they traded David Perron. So could I do the real trade that the Penguins made? We'll just have to wait and see. I went through every team and looked at wingers, and I'm looking at left wingers actually when I needed a right winger, but whatever. I guess it doesn't matter. Left wingers can play right wing. Looked at Reichel from Columbus. He's real young. I'm looking for someone who's young, has a lot of space left, or not a lot of space left, has more than 1 year left on their salary, because if I can keep Sedin for 1 more year, then when Sedin retires, I can, increase the salary of someone who's paid, like Tatar, only $2.7 million. Say I get him. Sedin retires, or, his contract's up anyway. I won't sign him back. Tatar's salary or someone like De La Rose would go way up since he's improved, and that would give me more room to sign a younger guy that's hopefully eventually just as good as Sedin. So that's kind of the plan, just to add someone with multiple years left on their contract who's still young. First, after going through all these guys, I decided that Tomas Tatar was the best option for the Penguins to try to get. The Red Wings on their trading block really wanted defensemen, so I offered Perron and Polio. Polio's a younger defenseman, and then I decided to change it to Clendening because I don't think they accepted that trade. And hopefully we can kind of work out a deal with Detroit. So Perron and Clendening, we're going to propose this trade, see if we can get Tomas Tatar as the newest member of the Penguins, and the trade is unfortunately rejected. Your contract with David Perron expires immediately, and we are not comfortable taking on such uncertainty for our roster at this time. So Detroit, obviously not wanting to have someone who they're going to have to worry about re-signing right after I trade to them, which actually makes sense. I tried to add some more, a first-round pick in Oscar Sundqvist, a minor leaguer. They still didn't want it. So now we go to Columbus to try to make a trade. We're going to try to get Reichel since we couldn't get Tatar, and nothing was really working out there, so we go to Montreal. We try to get this, I think Jacob De La Rose is his name, and Montreal declines their offer of Perron and Lovejoy. It seems like every club I tried to trade Lovejoy to, they didn't want someone they were going to have to re-sign. But just in case someone made probably a bad decision, I literally offered Lovejoy for all of the people I looked at. Almost all of them at least, I'm sorry, not Lovejoy, Perron. I offered Perron to all of these teams because maybe, just maybe, someone is still willing to do this deal even if it doesn't benefit them. You've seen GMs make questionable decisions in the past. If I can talk one of these GMs into making a questionable decision, I'll do that before I start offering something better like Sedin or a better player for one of these right wingers or left wingers. We tried to get Teravainen and Shaw from Chicago for Perron, which was probably a stupid decision. That was a really dumb trade of me. Then we go to Dallas, try to get Roussel, and I'm not even going to attempt to propose that one because I just don't think it will work. Roussel's a nice young player. So we now go to Winnipeg, and we get Bo Bennett in a 27 second round pick for Ehlers, and that's rejected as well because Bennett's salary is also going to be out after this year. So after all that, we're back to ground zero. We go back to Tatar because I really kind of got my mind set on him. I mean, there's other good options, but Tatar's just the best one out there. He's a little older. He's already better. I won't have to wait a couple years before he's good. And if I can have Tatar on my team and Sedin, as you can see, I'm going to try to keep Sedin here, our offense is going to be really good next year. We offer Pulio for Tatar, and we actually asked that Detroit retain some of Tatar's salary, and we're going to add David Perron. They don't want Perron. It seems like nobody wants Perron, so I don't know what I'm going to do with him, just not re-sign him or something. We then offer Kunitz because Kunitz has 2 years left. The value is just not where it is, but your offer is filling the needs we have. So we're starting to get close by offering Kunitz. We now offer Pulio and Lovejoy. We tried doing Lovejoy just because he's younger and his value is a little more than Chris Kunitz, and they reject it yet again, unfortunately. So still trying to work on this trade, seeing what we can add. You can see this is how great the trade negotiations are in NHL 16. Hats off to them. They're doing a really good job. We try to add in a second-round pick. They're going to reject it. And at this point, I don't know what else to add. I think we're going to go to a first-round pick. Yeah, 2017 first-round pick. Pulio and Lovejoy for Tatar. Trade is still rejected. So, my goodness, we are really putting in the work. We try to add another minor league defenseman, but Pittsburgh would be over the salary cap at that point. We switch it up, Pulio and Ian Cole. So now I'm actually starting to give up quite a bit. They're pretty good players. Detroit still rejects the trade despite the fact that they need defensemen. So Pulio and Cole, and now we're going to add a draft pick, second-round pick. Will Detroit finally accept this trade? Yes! They do, and Tomas Tatar, ladies and gentlemen, is the newest member of the Pittsburgh Penguins. We have made that trade. 2 defensemen and a first-round pick for Tomas Tatar. Philadelphia is going to offer us a trade, D for a third-round pick of the Tampa Bay Lightning. I reject that, didn't want to do it. But there you go, guys. Tomas Tatar is our new member of the Penguins, which is awesome. And we kept